This audiobook will push you harder than most things you try because it asks for honest effort and steady action. You will hear clear steps to face fear head-on, feel your chest tighten, and still move forward. Control your attention when noise competes for your focus, and build habits that stick even on tired days. I will show practical methods to strengthen discipline, track progress, and recover faster from failure. You will get concrete routines to protect your time, sharpen your focus, and act with more confidence, even when others doubt you. Expect direct challenges that test what you are willing to do, and specific exercises you can apply tonight. Stay with this recording to the end, because the last sections tie the whole plan together and show how small daily choices produce real results. This is not about cheerleading or empty promises. It is a straight guide for anyone ready to accept discomfort, do the work, and change their life step by step. If you want honest growth, this audio is for you. Chapter 1: Master your mindset to overcome challenges and fears daily. Mastering your mindset is the most powerful skill you can develop, because everything in life begins in the mind. If your thoughts are weak, scattered, or filled with fear, your actions will always reflect that weakness. Every challenge you face, every fear that surfaces, is first a test of how strong your mind is. Life will not wait for you to feel ready. It does not bend for hesitation, doubt, or uncertainty. The world moves, circumstances shift, and opportunities do not pause for anyone. Those who succeed are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who have trained their minds to act, to endure, and to persist despite fear. They have learned to see every challenge as a signal, every obstacle as a stepping stone, and every fear as a test of inner strength. Mastering your mindset is not a luxury. It is the foundation of a life built on resilience, achievement, and daily progress. The first step toward mastering your mindset is understanding that fear is not a sign of weakness. Fear is a natural reaction to uncertainty, to potential danger, or to stepping into new territory. Most people let fear control them. They avoid risks, they postpone decisions, and they shrink from opportunities. Mastery begins when you recognize fear as information rather than instruction. Fear tells you where growth is waiting. It highlights what matters to you and where your comfort zone ends. It is not the enemy. The enemy is inaction that fear creates. Every time you act despite fear, every time you take one step into discomfort, your mind grows stronger. You rewire your brain to respond to fear with courage instead of retreat. This does not mean fear disappears. It means you choose action over avoidance every single time. Another essential principle in mastering your mindset is clarity of purpose. The mind cannot be strong without direction. If your goals are vague, your motivation will fluctuate with mood, circumstance, or the opinions of others. A strong mindset requires a clear target, a defined reason to persist when the world feels heavy. Spend time defining what truly matters to you. Write it down. Say it aloud. Visualize it with detail and precision. When your purpose is clear, challenges become meaningful rather than discouraging. Obstacles transform from threats to lessons. Every setback becomes a test of your commitment. Your mind is no longer wandering. It is focused, disciplined, and prepared to face difficulty because the path is obvious and the reason for walking it is undeniable. Self-talk is another critical aspect of a powerful mindset. Every thought you have shapes your perception of reality and guides your behavior. Most people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to another person. They doubt themselves, criticize their choices, and replay failures endlessly. Training your mind starts with speaking to yourself intentionally and positively. Replace statements of doubt with statements of action and possibility. Instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," think, "I will handle this step by step." Instead of, "This is too hard," remind yourself, "This is an opportunity to grow and become stronger." The words you choose are the foundation of your mindset. They create the internal environment from which all decisions, all persistence, and all courage flow. Silence self-sabotage. Speak to yourself as a mentor, guide, and coach would, firmly but encouragingly, with clarity and honesty. Developing mental toughness also requires practice with discomfort. The mind grows not from comfort, but from challenge. Life will inevitably present situations that feel uncomfortable, unfair, or overwhelming. You cannot control external circumstances, but you can control your response. Start small. Seek challenges that stretch your abilities. Set goals that feel slightly beyond your current capacity. This might mean taking on a project you feel unprepared for, confronting a fear of speaking in front of others, or making a difficult but necessary decision. Every time you face discomfort deliberately, your brain learns that you are capable of more than you believed. The mind becomes conditioned to respond to difficulty with focus and clarity rather than panic and avoidance. Strength grows in repetition. Courage strengthens when tested repeatedly. Your mental resilience compounds every time you choose discomfort over retreat. Another key principle is reframing failure. Weak minds see failure as proof of inadequacy, as confirmation that trying is pointless. Strong minds see failure as essential feedback. Every mistake carries information about what works, what does not, and what needs adjustment. To master your mindset, practice analyzing failure objectively. Remove ego and shame from the equation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And how can I adjust my approach? This turns fear of failure into a tool for growth rather than a barrier. Over time, your relationship with failure changes. It becomes a companion in the pursuit of progress rather than a threat to your confidence. Every setback is a step forward if you extract the lesson and apply it. Strong minds embrace this process because they understand that growth and achievement are inseparable from trial and error. Discipline is another pillar of a strong mindset. Motivation fluctuates. Energy rises and falls. The world will constantly challenge your desire to act consistently. A disciplined mind creates habits that do not depend on feeling inspired. Start by defining the small, consistent actions that align with your goals. Practice them daily without exception. This could be waking up early, dedicating time to learning, exercising your body, or completing a project step by step. Consistency strengthens the mind because it teaches control. It teaches that the mind is not a slave to whim or emotion. Each action completed, no matter how small, reinforces the belief in your own capability. Over time, these actions accumulate, creating momentum that fear cannot stop and obstacles cannot derail. Visualization and mental rehearsal are powerful tools for strengthening your mindset. The brain cannot fully distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. When you repeatedly imagine yourself overcoming challenges, taking decisive action, and achieving goals, your mind becomes familiar with success. This reduces fear and hesitation when real challenges appear. Spend time daily visualizing difficult situations you may encounter. See yourself responding calmly, confidently, and effectively. Practice the steps you would take, imagine the outcomes, and feel the emotions of accomplishment. Mental rehearsal creates a readiness that translates into immediate, decisive action when reality calls. The mind begins to operate from preparation rather than reaction, and fear loses its grip when you are ready. Accountability is also a critical component of mastering your mindset. It is easy to justify inaction when no one is watching, when excuses go unchallenged. Strong minds create systems of accountability. This might be sharing goals with someone you trust, keeping a journal to track daily progress, or setting measurable standards for performance. Accountability keeps your mind honest. It forces you to confront procrastination, laziness, and avoidance rather than hiding from them. When you consistently review your actions and results, your mind becomes more disciplined, more self-aware, and more resilient. Accountability is not punishment. It is a mirror that reflects where growth is happening and where more effort is needed. Another essential skill is controlling attention. The human mind is constantly bombarded with distractions, opinions, and noise. Most people allow these inputs to dictate their focus, leading to scattered thinking and indecision. A strong mindset learns to control what it focuses on. Prioritize the information and tasks that matter most. Reduce exposure to negativity, unproductive discussions, and superficial concerns. Practice periods of focused work or reflection where nothing else exists except the task at hand. Controlling attention builds clarity, reduces fear, and strengthens the ability to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. Mastering your attention is the gateway to mastering your thoughts and ultimately your actions. Gratitude and perspective are also powerful for mental mastery. When facing challenges, it is easy to become consumed by what is missing, what is unfair, or what has gone wrong. Gratitude shifts the mind toward what is present, what is possible, and what you can control. Take time each day to recognize progress, effort, and small victories. Reflect on the lessons learned and the skills acquired through struggle. This creates emotional resilience and reduces fear because the mind sees difficulty not as destruction but as training. Perspective allows you to distinguish between problems that require action and worries that are wasted energy. Strong minds focus on what they can influence and let go of what they cannot. This clarity produces calm, effective decision-making even under pressure. Action is the ultimate test of mindset mastery. Thinking, planning, and preparation are important, but the mind only grows through action. Fear can paralyze, doubt can stall, and overthinking can create the illusion of readiness without actual progress. Commit to immediate, deliberate action, even if it is imperfect. Each step forward, each decision executed despite fear, strengthens neural pathways of courage and resilience. Action compounds in power. The more you act, the more capable you become. The more capable you become, the less fear can influence your decisions. Action is the proof of mastery. It turns ideas into results and challenges into opportunities. Without action, all the strategies, insights, and principles are useless. Mindset is demonstrated, not theorized. Mastering your mindset also requires rest and reflection. A strong mind is not constant effort without pause. It understands the importance of recovering, processing experiences, and consolidating learning. Take time regularly to reflect on victories and failures, to assess what worked and what needs improvement. Allow the mind periods of quiet to recharge and consolidate new patterns of thinking. Reflection deepens awareness, reinforces lessons, and prevents burnout. Rest does not weaken the mind. It strengthens it by ensuring that energy and clarity are maintained for consistent, focused action over the long term. Balance between effort and rest creates a resilient, sustainable mindset that thrives under pressure. Finally, patience is a cornerstone of mindset mastery. The mind often seeks instant results, immediate validation, or rapid success. Strong minds understand that growth, skill, and resilience take time to develop. Success is not a single act, but the accumulation of repeated effort, learning, and disciplined action. Patience allows the mind to endure difficulty without frustration, to persist when progress seems invisible, and to continue acting despite uncertainty. Each day, every small action, compounds into results that once seemed impossible. Patience transforms endurance into mastery and effort into achievement. Mastering your mindset is not a one-time accomplishment. It is an ongoing process, a daily choice to act with courage, clarity, and discipline. It is about facing fear without avoidance, thinking clearly without distraction, and acting consistently without hesitation. It is about learning from failure, taking control of attention, and reinforcing habits that support growth. A strong mind sees opportunity where others see threat, takes action when others hesitate, and persists when others quit. It does not rely on motivation because it has built habits of persistence. It does not crumble under pressure because it has trained in discomfort. It does not retreat from fear because it has practiced courage repeatedly. Every day you practice these principles, your mind becomes stronger, sharper, and more capable. You gain control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your responses to life. You transform fear into action, doubt into clarity, and challenge into progress. Your mind is the battlefield where every success and every failure begins. Master it, train it, challenge it, protect it. Feed it with clarity, courage, and deliberate action. Ignore weakness, distraction, and fear that seeks to control you. Every obstacle is a chance to practice strength. Every fear is an opportunity to exercise courage, and every day is a chance to strengthen the mind that will determine the course of your life. There is no shortcut, no easy path, and no alternative to doing the work. A strong mind is forged through deliberate, consistent, and conscious effort. Those who commit to this path rise above challenges, exceed expectations, and achieve goals that weaker minds will never dare to pursue. Master your mindset, and every challenge, every fear, and every opportunity becomes a platform for transformation. The mind that conquers itself will conquer life itself. Chapter 2. Develop unbreakable discipline to achieve your biggest goals consistently. Discipline is the backbone of achievement. It is the force that allows you to act consistently, even when motivation fades, even when obstacles appear, and even when the world feels heavy. Talent, intelligence, and opportunity matter, but without discipline, they rarely lead to lasting success. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It is the structure that allows you to live according to your priorities, to focus on what truly matters, and to transform goals into tangible results. Developing unbreakable discipline is about creating habits, mindsets, and routines that support your objectives no matter the circumstances. It is about building a system in which your actions are automatic, aligned, and persistent, producing outcomes far beyond what fleeting motivation can achieve. The first step to building unbreakable discipline is clarity. You cannot be disciplined about vague intentions. Discipline requires a target, a measurable and undeniable goal. This clarity allows your mind to orient toward action instead of wandering aimlessly. Start by defining what you want with precision. Break it down into measurable milestones. Know not only the ultimate destination but also the intermediate steps. When the goal is clear, each action gains significance. Every decision becomes an opportunity to advance. Ambiguity allows procrastination. Specificity fuels relentless forward motion. Clarity transforms your will into directed energy. Consistency is the core principle of discipline. Discipline is not about extreme effort in bursts. It is about showing up daily, in a structured and deliberate manner, even when the results seem invisible. The human brain thrives on repetition. Habits form when actions are repeated consistently under similar conditions. Create routines that align with your goals and stick to them. This might mean setting fixed times for important tasks, committing to regular practice, or maintaining rituals that reinforce your objectives. Each day, every small action compounds into momentum. What seems minor today becomes monumental over time. Discipline multiplies through repetition, and consistency is the multiplier that turns intention into achievement. Another essential aspect of discipline is eliminating excuses. Weakness thrives in justification. Every excuse strengthens the habit of avoidance and undermines the ability to act decisively. Begin by acknowledging excuses when they arise and replacing them with action-oriented statements. Instead of saying, "I am too tired," reframe it as, "I will take the first step despite fatigue." Instead of, "I do not have time," assert, "I will prioritize what matters most and act now." This does not mean ignoring legitimate limitations. It means refusing to let minor obstacles dictate behavior. Discipline is built when action becomes non-negotiable. It is nurtured when responsibility replaces justification. Self-control is another pillar of unbreakable discipline. It requires training the mind to resist impulses that distract from long-term goals. The modern world constantly offers distractions, comforts, and immediate gratifications. Discipline is the ability to delay these temptations and focus on meaningful, sustained effort. This begins with small exercises in self-restraint. It might be choosing work over leisure temporarily, controlling emotional reactions, or resisting short-term rewards that undermine progress. Over time, these small acts of self-control strengthen neural pathways associated with decision-making and perseverance. The mind becomes conditioned to prioritize long-term benefits over fleeting pleasure. Discipline thrives where impulse is managed and consistent choice guides action. Accountability strengthens discipline. A goal kept private is easier to abandon. Share your commitments with someone you trust. Set measurable benchmarks and track your progress meticulously. Accountability creates external pressure that reinforces internal resolve. When you know your actions are being observed, even by yourself through honest tracking, the tendency to procrastinate diminishes. Regular reflection on results and adjustment of methods ensure that your efforts remain aligned with your objectives. Discipline without accountability risks stagnation. Accountability converts intention into visible progress and reinforces the commitment to consistent action. Structure is also fundamental. The unstructured mind struggles to maintain focus and consistency. Design your environment to support the actions you want to take. Remove distractions, organize your workspace, and schedule tasks in a way that reduces decision fatigue. When the environment is aligned with your goals, discipline becomes easier to sustain. Your surroundings reinforce your objectives, making it more likely that action happens automatically. Structure is the silent partner of discipline, quietly ensuring that the path of least resistance leads to progress rather than procrastination. Time management is inseparable from discipline. Discipline requires controlling how you spend your hours and refusing to allow trivial matters to consume energy meant for meaningful work. Break tasks into priorities, allocate specific time blocks for focus, and eliminate low-value activities. Guard your schedule rigorously. Every hour invested in clarity and structured action multiplies results. When time is treated as a finite resource, discipline becomes not just a habit but a necessity. Strong minds respect time, protect it fiercely, and use it intentionally. Discipline grows where time is valued and directed purposefully. Resilience amplifies discipline. Every goal worth pursuing will involve setbacks. Discipline is not broken by temporary failure. It is reinforced by the ability to persist despite difficulties. Train the mind to respond to challenges with determination rather than avoidance. View setbacks as opportunities to test commitment, refine strategies, and strengthen resolve. Discipline is a muscle that grows under stress through consistent effort despite unfavorable circumstances. Resilient discipline recognizes that progress is uneven and embraces persistence as the ultimate tool for achievement. Mindset is inseparable from disciplined behavior. The strongest discipline stems from a mind that values growth over comfort, action over passivity, and long-term fulfillment over instant gratification. Cultivate mental frameworks that reinforce the importance of persistence. Remind yourself daily of the reasons behind your goals. Reinforce belief in your ability to succeed through consistent action. When the mind fully commits to the principle that effort determines outcomes, discipline is no longer a choice but a natural expression of thought. Mindset transforms effort into habit, and habit into results. Visualization reinforces disciplined behavior. Imagine the process of acting consistently toward your goals. Visualize each step you must take, the obstacles you may face, and your response to challenges. Mental rehearsal prepares the mind for action and reduces hesitation when difficulties arise. Seeing yourself execute actions daily strengthens confidence in your ability to persist. Visualization is not passive dreaming, it is active preparation. It primes the mind to act, making discipline easier to maintain under pressure. Reward and reinforcement play a role in sustaining discipline. Recognize progress, however small. Celebrate milestones to maintain motivation, but avoid allowing rewards to become excuses for inaction. Reinforcement builds positive associations with disciplined behavior, making consistency more natural. Each completed task, each step forward, strengthens the mental pattern that associates action with growth. Over time, the repetition of action and acknowledgement of progress becomes a self-sustaining cycle. Discipline strengthens itself when effort is consistently acknowledged and reinforced. Discipline also requires adaptability. Rigid adherence to ineffective methods is not true discipline. Assess results regularly and adjust approaches without abandoning the core commitment to consistent action. Flexibility within a framework of persistence ensures that discipline remains effective and aligned with objectives. Evaluate strategies, refine techniques, and remain open to better methods. Discipline without adjustment can become stagnation. True unbreakable discipline is resilient, flexible, and focused on results, not simply on effort. Patience is the final element that cements discipline. Immediate results are rare, and most meaningful goals require sustained effort over time. Discipline is the bridge between intention and long-term achievement. It allows you to continue acting even when results are delayed, recognizing that consistent action compounds into success. Patience ensures that effort is maintained, progress is measured, and setbacks are temporary rather than discouraging. Unbreakable discipline persists because it values process as much as outcome, knowing that sustained effort produces inevitable results. Every day is an opportunity to practice discipline. It is not demonstrated only in major achievements, but in consistent, intentional action toward your goals. Each morning you wake and choose to act according to your priorities, each decision made deliberately, each distraction ignored, each task completed contributes to a momentum that grows exponentially. Discipline is built in the ordinary moments, in the repetition of choices aligned with purpose. Over time, these small, daily victories accumulate into unbreakable resolve and extraordinary outcomes. Discipline transforms potential into reality. It converts vague intentions into measurable progress. It enables consistent performance, enhances resilience, and fosters self-respect. The untrained mind may wait for motivation, seek comfort, or surrender to distractions. The disciplined mind acts regardless of circumstance, builds habits that produce results automatically, and maintains momentum in the face of challenge. It is not dependent on fleeting energy, changing mood, or external validation. Discipline is internal, consistent, and unyielding. Developing unbreakable discipline requires commitment to daily action, reflection, and adjustment. It demands that every choice is measured against long-term objectives rather than short-term comfort. It requires that effort becomes habitual, persistence becomes instinct, and resistance to distraction becomes second nature. It teaches patience, enhances focus, and strengthens mental resilience. Discipline is not a trait, it is a practice. It is forged in repetition, maintained in structure, and reinforced through consistent choice. The individual who masters discipline transforms life into a series of deliberate, meaningful steps toward achievement. Ultimately, discipline creates freedom. The individual who acts consistently, resists distraction, and maintains focus controls outcomes rather than being controlled by circumstances. Life becomes predictable, manageable, and oriented toward goals rather than chaos. Challenges no longer paralyze, distractions no longer derail, and fear no longer dictates decisions. Unbreakable discipline turns dreams into results, plans into action, and potential into reality. It is the force that separates those who achieve from those who merely wish. It is the foundation upon which extraordinary lives are built. Every day, every choice, every action contributes to this structure. Discipline is the silent, unstoppable engine driving progress, growth, and success. Chapter 30: Build resilience by embracing pain and learning from failure. Resilience is the force that allows you to endure adversity, recover from setbacks, and continue moving forward when circumstances feel unbearable. It is not a gift or something some people are born with. It is a skill that can be cultivated, strengthened, and sharpened through deliberate practice and perspective. Pain and failure are not obstacles to avoid. They are the catalysts that test your inner strength and shape your ability to overcome. Every setback, every disappointment, and every difficult experience is a lesson waiting to be understood. Building resilience begins with changing how you perceive challenges. Pain is not a punishment, and failure is not an endpoint. They are signals, feedback, and opportunities to develop capacity, wisdom, and endurance. The first step toward developing resilience is accepting the inevitability of difficulty. Life will not bend to your comfort, and circumstances often shift in unpredictable ways. Resistance to this fact creates frustration and stagnation. Accepting that pain is part of growth allows you to respond with composure instead of panic. When you anticipate difficulty, you are better prepared to face it. When challenges arise, you recognize them as temporary experiences rather than threats to your identity or purpose. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It means acknowledging reality clearly and focusing energy on response rather than complaint. Another crucial element of resilience is emotional regulation. Pain and failure naturally evoke strong emotions, and uncontrolled reactions can exacerbate difficulty. Learning to observe emotions without surrendering to them creates mental stability. When disappointment strikes, the instinct may be to react impulsively, to lash out, or to retreat. Instead, pause to assess the situation calmly. Identify the facts versus the interpretations your mind is creating. Respond from clarity rather than raw emotion. Over time, This practice strengthens your ability to remain steady under pressure, reducing the likelihood that pain or failure will derail progress. Emotional discipline is the foundation upon which resilience is built. Reframing failure is essential to endurance. Most people view failure as an endpoint, a verdict on ability or worth. Strong, resilient individuals see failure as a teacher. Every unsuccessful attempt provides information on what works, what does not, and where improvement is needed. Reflect on failure with honesty and curiosity. Ask questions such as, "What can I learn from this experience?" and "How can I approach this differently next time?" Extracting lessons from setbacks transforms them from sources of discouragement into tools for growth. The ability to learn and adapt ensures that failure becomes a stepping stone rather than a trap. Resilience also requires physical and mental conditioning. A mind that faces difficulty with energy and clarity relies on the body's strength and stamina. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and sufficient rest prepare you to handle challenges without depleting willpower prematurely. Mental conditioning involves deliberate exposure to discomfort, practicing tasks that challenge patience, focus, and endurance. Each time you endure difficulty deliberately, your capacity to handle unexpected stress increases. Resilience is developed through repeated experience, training the mind and body to operate effectively under pressure. Persistence is inseparable from resilience. The ability to continue acting despite repeated setbacks defines long-term success. Resilient individuals do not abandon their goals at the first sign of difficulty. They continue to apply effort methodically, understanding that progress is often gradual and uneven. Each action taken in the face of adversity strengthens the mind's confidence in its own abilities. This iterative process transforms difficulty into a proving ground for capability. Endurance compounds over time, turning repeated effort into habitual strength that becomes increasingly difficult to break. Perspective is a powerful tool in cultivating resilience. Pain often feels overwhelming because it is experienced in isolation from the larger context of life and growth. Stepping back and observing challenges objectively allows you to reduce emotional intensity. Ask yourself whether the obstacle will matter in months or years, or whether it is part of a process that contributes to your long-term goals. This perspective allows you to navigate hardship with composure rather than surrendering to despair. Resilient individuals maintain a wide-angle view, seeing difficulty as one component in a larger journey rather than as a final verdict. Self-reliance reinforces resilience. Waiting for external validation, support, or rescue weakens the mind's ability to endure. Strong individuals develop confidence in their capacity to handle challenges independently. This does not mean isolating oneself from support entirely. It means cultivating internal resources that allow action even when external assistance is unavailable. The ability to rely on your own skills, judgment, and perseverance enhances stability and reduces the risk of collapse under pressure. Self-reliance is an empowering mindset that turns adversity into an opportunity to demonstrate competence and courage. Adaptability is another key to enduring pain and learning from failure. Circumstances rarely unfold exactly as expected, and rigid adherence to a single plan often leads to frustration. Resilient individuals adjust their approach without abandoning their purpose. They modify strategies, experiment with methods, and remain open to new solutions. Adaptability ensures that setbacks are not permanent barriers, but temporary obstacles that can be overcome with creativity and persistence. Flexibility in thinking strengthens the ability to navigate uncertainty without losing momentum. Gratitude strengthens resilience by anchoring the mind in what is present and meaningful. Pain can feel magnified when the mind focuses solely on what has gone wrong or what is missing. Recognizing progress, small wins, and positive aspects of life shifts attention from loss to opportunity. Daily reflection on gratitude builds mental stability, reducing the impact of setbacks and creating emotional reserves that buffer stress. Resilient individuals maintain a balance between acknowledging challenges and appreciating the resources and achievements that remain intact. Resilient individuals also embrace responsibility fully. Blaming others or external circumstances weakens the mind's capacity to respond effectively. Taking ownership of actions, decisions, and outcomes empowers you to make changes where possible. Responsibility transforms challenges from threats into manageable variables under your control. By focusing on what can be influenced rather than what is uncontrollable, resilience grows. The mind becomes solution-oriented, and action becomes the default response to difficulty rather than avoidance or complaint. Visualization and mental rehearsal are powerful techniques for preparing the mind to handle adversity. Imagine the challenges you might face, the obstacles that could arise, and the actions you would take to overcome them. Mentally rehearsing responses reduces hesitation, builds confidence, and primes the mind for decisive action. Each scenario practiced internally increases readiness for real-life challenges. Visualization is a proactive method of resilience building, turning potential stress into familiar territory that can be navigated effectively. Routine and structure reinforce the ability to withstand setbacks. Predictable habits create stability, reduce cognitive load, and provide a framework within which challenges can be addressed systematically. When the mind is trained to operate within consistent routines, it can allocate energy more efficiently to respond to unexpected stressors. Structure allows focus on problem-solving rather than on basic decision-making, conserving mental resources for resilience. Each repeated action strengthens the capacity to maintain composure under pressure. Reflection and learning are central to turning failure into growth. Each painful experience carries lessons that can be applied to future challenges. Set aside time regularly to analyze experiences, identify patterns, and refine approaches. Reflection ensures that mistakes are not repeated, and that every setback becomes a building block for improvement. The mind develops a record of strategies that work under stress, enhancing confidence and reducing fear of future difficulties. Resilient individuals are relentless learners, extracting value from every experience. Finally, resilience is cultivated through consistent action despite discomfort. Waiting for fear to disappear or pain to subside is futile. Strength is built in the moment of engagement, when action is taken even though the outcome is uncertain and the effort feels uncomfortable. The repetition of deliberate, purposeful action in the face of challenge trains the mind to withstand stress, adapt to adversity, and recover quickly. Resilience grows not from avoidance, but from repeated confrontation with difficulty and the conscious choice to endure. The foundation of lasting resilience lies in combining acceptance, emotional control, perspective, adaptability, responsibility, and consistent action. Pain and failure are not punishments but opportunities to test and expand capacity. Each challenge faced and overcome strengthens confidence, sharpens judgment, and reinforces persistence. The more experiences of hardship the mind endures, while maintaining focus and determination, the stronger it becomes. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulty, it is about engaging with it consciously, learning from it systematically, and acting through it decisively. Developing resilience transforms life. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become manageable. Fear loses its power to immobilize, setbacks become temporary detours, and uncertainty is navigated with composure. A resilient individual approaches life with courage, clarity, and confidence, turning every obstacle into a tool for growth. This mindset transforms pain into insight, failure into knowledge, and adversity into a proving ground for strength. Resilience ensures that every challenge faced contributes directly to the ability to achieve goals, endure hardship, and thrive regardless of circumstances. Resilience is a lifelong practice. Each day presents opportunities to strengthen the mind, test limits, and grow through adversity. By embracing pain, learning from failure, and committing to consistent, deliberate action, resilience becomes an automatic response to challenge rather than a skill exercised only occasionally. The individual who builds this capacity moves through life with a quiet certainty, unshaken by temporary setbacks, undeterred by difficulty, and consistently aligned with long-term goals. The power of resilience lies in the cumulative effect of daily practice. Every setback faced with composure, every painful moment engaged deliberately, and every failure analyzed objectively contributes to mental fortitude. The stronger the mind becomes, the less likely it is to be defeated by circumstances. Each experience becomes a stepping stone, each challenge a lesson, and each failure a tool for growth. Resilience is the bridge between adversity and achievement, transforming obstacles into opportunities and ensuring that the individual emerges stronger, wiser, and more capable after every trial. Chapter 4. Take control of time to maximize productivity every single day. Time is the most valuable resource you have, yet it is the one most people squander without thought. Every day contains the same 24 hours, but the difference between achievement and stagnation lies in how you use them. Taking control of time is not about cramming more tasks into a day. It is about intentionality, prioritization, and discipline that allows every action to contribute to meaningful results. Productivity is not measured by busyness or noise. It is measured by output that moves you closer to your goals. To maximize your days, you must first recognize that time will not wait, adapt, or pause for convenience. Mastering it requires deliberate decisions, clear priorities, and unwavering focus. The first step in taking control of time is establishing clarity on what matters most. Most people spend hours on low-value activities because they have not defined their true priorities. Identify the tasks, actions, and goals that provide the greatest return on effort. Break them into daily and weekly objectives and focus your energy exclusively on them. When you know precisely what deserves your time, distractions lose power and decisions become simpler. Each action gains purpose because it directly contributes to meaningful outcomes. Clarity converts wasted hours into productive blocks of progress. Planning is essential for controlling time. A day without a plan is a day at the mercy of circumstance. Begin each day by reviewing tasks, setting goals, and scheduling focused periods for high-priority work. Allocate specific times for deep work that requires concentration, separate from routine or administrative tasks. By mapping out your day intentionally, you reduce indecision and eliminate wasted time spent deciding what to do next. Structured planning also provides a framework to measure progress, adjust approaches, and ensure energy is invested where it has the greatest impact. Eliminating distractions is a critical factor in maximizing productivity. Notifications, social media, unnecessary meetings, and constant interruptions fragment attention and slow progress. Design your environment to minimize these disruptions. Silence devices, close irrelevant tabs, and communicate clear boundaries to others when focus is required. Protecting your attention ensures that your mental energy is directed toward outcomes rather than consumed by interruptions. Every hour regained from distraction is an hour invested in meaningful action. Time control also requires mastering the art of prioritization. Not every task is equal, and attempting to treat them as such leads to inefficiency. Identify the tasks that have the highest impact and address them first. Delegate, automate, or eliminate low-value activities whenever possible. Saying no to tasks that do not advance your goals is not refusal of responsibility. It is a strategic choice that preserves energy for what truly matters. Prioritization ensures that every action contributes to long-term objectives rather than immediate convenience or fleeting obligation. Energy management is intertwined with time control. Productivity is not simply about hours spent. It is about quality of attention and effort. Recognize when your energy peaks and align your most demanding tasks with these periods. Allow breaks, rest, and recovery to maintain high levels of focus throughout the day. The human brain operates most efficiently when attention is preserved and nurtured. Misaligned energy and effort waste both time and potential. Managing energy alongside scheduling ensures that every hour invested produces maximum output. Setting boundaries reinforces control over time. Clear limits on how your time is used prevent others' priorities from overriding your own. Communicate expectations to colleagues, friends, and family when focus is needed. Protect blocks of uninterrupted work and guard personal time rigorously. Boundaries allow intentional action rather than reactive response. Without them, time is ceded to external demands and your ability to achieve meaningful results diminishes. Control is maintained by asserting ownership over every hour. Batching tasks amplifies efficiency. Group similar tasks together to reduce cognitive load and transition time. Respond to emails in dedicated sessions rather than constantly checking messages. Consolidate routine administrative work into blocks rather than spreading them across the day. Batching allows the mind to focus fully on one type of activity at a time, increasing speed and accuracy. Streamlining repetitive actions multiplies productive output while freeing time for more significant endeavors. Time tracking provides awareness and accountability. Many people misjudge how their hours are spent. Recording activities, evaluating patterns, and identifying wasted moments creates insight into habits and reveals opportunities for optimization. Use simple tools to track tasks, estimate effort, and review outcomes. Awareness turns unconscious habits into conscious decisions. Tracking reinforces discipline by highlighting where improvements are possible and where energy is being invested effectively. Rituals and routines support consistent use of time. Habits that automatically align with priorities reduce the mental effort required to act intentionally. Establish morning routines that prepare the mind for focused work. Create evening rituals that review accomplishments, plan the next day, and ensure rest. Predictable structure reduces decision fatigue and preserves energy for meaningful challenges. Routines become the engine of productivity, ensuring that important tasks are addressed consistently without relying solely on willpower. Delegation is another powerful method of time control. Recognize that not every task requires personal attention. Identify responsibilities that others can handle effectively and entrust them. Delegating allows focus to remain on high-impact activities and prevents time from being consumed by low-value work. Effective delegation multiplies capacity while maintaining accountability for results. Strategic sharing of responsibilities ensures that personal effort is optimized for maximum return. Decision-making efficiency is critical for productive time use. Overanalyzing choices and delaying action wastes hours unnecessarily. Establish criteria for decisions and act decisively within defined parameters. Accept that uncertainty is inherent and that action often produces feedback faster than prolonged deliberation. Rapid, informed decisions prevent time from being eroded by hesitation and maintain forward momentum. Discipline in decision-making ensures that time is not squandered in endless contemplation. Reflection and review reinforce mastery of time. At the end of each day, evaluate accomplishments, identify areas of wasted effort, and adjust strategies accordingly. Regular review provides insight into patterns, strengthens accountability, and ensures that energy continues to be allocated effectively. Learning from daily experience allows improvement in both efficiency and impact. Time is controlled most effectively when past performance informs future action, creating a continuous cycle of refinement and growth. The use of deadlines enhances focus and urgency. Self-imposed or external deadlines create structure that combats procrastination. Breaking tasks into time-limited segments prevents overthinking and ensures momentum. Deadlines do not create pressure arbitrarily. They harness energy and provide measurable targets that maintain consistent progress. Respecting time constraints develops discipline and encourages prioritization aligned with meaningful objectives. Eliminating multitasking improves productivity significantly. Dividing attention across multiple activities reduces efficiency and quality. Focus on one task at a time, complete it, and move to the next. Single tasking leverages full cognitive capacity, reduces errors, and shortens completion time. Concentrated effort amplifies results while freeing mental resources for subsequent challenges. Discipline in attention ensures that time is spent effectively rather than fragmented across competing demands. Reflection on long-term goals maintains alignment of daily actions with overarching objectives. Each day's schedule should serve broader ambitions rather than immediate convenience. Reviewing long-term priorities guides decisions, reinforces motivation, and ensures that effort compounds toward meaningful outcomes. When daily actions connect directly to personal vision, time is no longer random or wasted. It becomes a tool of intentional growth and achievement. Maximizing productivity also requires eliminating perfectionism. Waiting for perfect conditions or outcomes delays progress unnecessarily. Focus on completion, iteration, and improvement. Action generates results, and refinement comes with feedback. Time lost in pursuit of unattainable perfection is time that could produce measurable progress. Discipline ensures that effort is directed toward meaningful output rather than endless refinement. Continuous learning enhances time efficiency. Each skill acquired and each strategy implemented improves the ability to execute tasks faster and with higher quality. Investing time in developing expertise compounds productivity by reducing effort required for future activities. Learning transforms time from a limited resource into a multiplier of capability. Knowledge and skill allow faster, more effective action with less wasted energy. Accountability for time spent reinforces discipline. Track hours, set goals, and hold yourself responsible for the outcomes of your schedule. Self-monitoring identifies patterns of procrastination or distraction and allows adjustments to maximize efficiency. Accountability ensures that time is used intentionally and reinforces commitment to consistent productivity. The mind strengthens when daily action is measured and evaluated objectively. Rest and recovery are essential for sustained productivity. Continuous effort without pause leads to burnout, mistakes, and diminished output. Scheduled breaks, periods of reflection, and sleep preserve energy and cognitive function. Proper recovery ensures that effort invested is high quality and focused, allowing consistent performance over the long term. Strategic rest is not lost time, it is an investment in the ability to maintain control over each hour with clarity and effectiveness. Mastering time transforms life. Individuals who take control of their schedule experience increased achievement, reduced stress, and heightened clarity. Every day becomes a deliberate sequence of purposeful actions that advance goals rather than a series of reactive motions. Time is harnessed as a tool, not surrendered to circumstance, distraction, or delay. Control over time creates freedom, amplifies impact, and ensures that effort produces maximum value consistently. Taking control of time is not a single act but a daily practice. It requires clarity of priorities, structured planning, elimination of distractions, and disciplined action. It is reinforced through routines, accountability, and reflection, and strengthened by energy management, decisiveness, and adaptation. Each moment treated intentionally compounds into measurable achievement. Every choice, task, and effort builds momentum that sustains productivity, increases capability, and moves you closer to meaningful goals. Time mastery is the foundation of accomplishment, resilience, and long-term success. Chapter 5. Strengthen focus to eliminate distractions and achieve deep work. Focus is the engine that drives results, and without it, effort becomes scattered, progress slows, and potential goes unrealized. Strengthening focus is not about forcing the mind into attention through sheer will alone. It is about creating conditions, habits, and mental frameworks that allow deep engagement with meaningful work. Every distraction, interruption, or divided attention erodes efficiency, dissipates energy, and reduces the quality of outcomes. The ability to sustain focus consistently separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who remain mediocre despite talent or effort. To achieve deep work, the mind must be trained, protected, and intentionally guided toward uninterrupted, purposeful engagement. The first step in strengthening focus is understanding what distracts you. Modern life constantly bombards attention with notifications, messages, social media, and unimportant tasks. Distraction is not only external, it can also be internal, in the form of wandering thoughts, worry, or emotional preoccupation. Identifying sources of distraction is essential for control. Observe when your mind drifts, what triggers disengagement, and which tasks are most susceptible to interruption. Awareness of these patterns allows you to implement measures that prevent distractions before they take hold. Creating an environment conducive to focus is critical. Surroundings influence attention more than most people realize. A cluttered workspace, frequent noise, and unorganized digital spaces fragment concentration. Design a setting that minimizes interruptions, supports workflow, and signals to the mind that it is time for deep work. This might include organizing tools, silencing devices, using noise-canceling headphones, or isolating yourself from others during high-focus periods. Environmental control amplifies mental capacity by reducing the effort needed to resist distraction. Time blocking enhances focus by providing dedicated periods for concentrated work. Instead of switching between tasks or attempting to multitask, Allocate specific hours solely for high-priority activities. During these blocks, eliminate all interruptions, silence notifications, and commit fully to the task at hand. Short, intense periods of focused effort are more productive than longer, fragmented sessions. Time blocking conditions the mind to associate particular hours with deep engagement, reinforcing discipline and attention. Prioritization is necessary to maintain meaningful focus. Not every task requires the same level of attention. Identify work that has the greatest impact on goals and allocate the bulk of your focus to these activities. Low-value tasks should be delegated, automated, or scheduled during periods of lower mental energy. Directing attention to high-priority work ensures that effort produces maximum results. Focus is wasted when applied equally to all tasks regardless of importance. Practicing single-tasking is one of the most effective strategies for strengthening attention. Multitasking divides mental energy and reduces cognitive efficiency. When the mind is split between competing demands, errors increase, progress slows, and fatigue accumulates faster. Concentrate fully on one task at a time, complete it, and then move to the next. This approach trains the brain to sustain attention over extended periods, producing deeper work and higher quality outcomes. Mental conditioning through deliberate focus exercises strengthens concentration over time. Activities such as reading without interruption, solving complex problems, or meditating on a single object train the mind to resist wandering. Start with short intervals and gradually increase duration as endurance improves. Like physical exercise, focus improves with consistent practice, repetition, and progressive challenge. Each session reinforces neural pathways associated with sustained attention. Managing energy enhances the ability to maintain focus. Mental fatigue, hunger, or insufficient sleep erode attention rapidly. Schedule demanding work during periods when alertness and cognitive capacity are at their peak. Incorporate brief breaks, movement, and nutrition to preserve stamina. Failing to align energy with attention requirements leads to diminished performance and wasted effort. Focus is a function of both discipline and physical readiness, and maintaining energy optimizes mental output. Eliminating decision fatigue reinforces deep work. The mind becomes less capable of sustaining attention when overloaded with choices. Reduce unnecessary decisions by creating routines, selecting meals, planning clothing, and standardizing daily tasks. The energy saved from these automatic choices can be redirected to critical, high-focus activities. Simplifying secondary decisions preserves mental resources for deep engagement and prevents distraction caused by cognitive depletion. Visualization supports sustained focus by preparing the mind for concentrated effort. Mentally rehearse tasks, envision completion, and anticipate potential obstacles before starting work. This primes the brain, clarifies objectives, and reduces hesitation. When the mind has a clear map of the steps required, attention is less likely to drift. Visualization strengthens the connection between intention and action, making deep work more achievable. Discipline in starting work is fundamental. Attention often wanders before a task is begun due to procrastination or internal resistance. Commit to starting immediately, even with a small initial action. Beginning triggers momentum, allowing focus to build naturally. Waiting for motivation or perfect conditions undermines concentration. Initiating action deliberately strengthens mental resilience and reinforces a habit of sustained attention. Breaking tasks into manageable segments reduces mental overwhelm and supports focus. Large projects can appear insurmountable, causing the mind to resist engagement. Divide work into clear, actionable steps that can be completed sequentially. Completing each step provides a sense of progress, reinforces concentration, and maintains momentum. Segmentation transforms intimidating tasks into achievable milestones, enhancing the ability to sustain deep focus. Reflection and feedback sustain attention by aligning effort with objectives. Regularly assess how time is spent, where attention drifts, and which methods maximize concentration. Adjust approaches based on insights to strengthen efficiency. Awareness and reflection prevent wasted effort and reinforce the practice of deliberate focus. Continuous improvement of attention strategies ensures that deep work becomes increasingly effective and consistent. Setting boundaries is essential to protect focus from external pressures. Communicate to colleagues, family, and friends when uninterrupted work periods are required. Create physical and temporal separation from potential interruptions. Boundaries preserve the integrity of attention and prevent erosion of mental energy by external demands. Protecting focus is an active process that requires intentional action, consistency, and assertiveness. Resisting instant gratification strengthens attention. The modern environment constantly tempts with distractions that offer immediate pleasure at the cost of meaningful work. Delay indulgence in trivial activities until high-priority tasks are complete. Training the mind to resist short-term rewards in favor of long-term achievement reinforces discipline and deepens focus. Every successful act of self-control strengthens the brain's capacity for sustained attention. Mindful attention enhances the quality of work produced. Actively observe thoughts and gently redirect wandering attention back to the task without judgment. This practice cultivates awareness, reduces susceptibility to distraction, and increases efficiency. Mindfulness during work ensures that mental energy is applied fully and consistently to the task at hand. Using checkpoints and micro-deadlines enhances focus by creating structured accountability. Break tasks into time-bound segments and measure progress against these targets. Short, achievable deadlines produce urgency, maintain engagement, and prevent attention from drifting. Micro-deadlines guide the mind to remain present, prioritize effort, and achieve measurable progress. Regular review of outcomes reinforces concentration strategies. Analyze what methods of focus were effective, what interruptions occurred, and how productivity can be improved. Reflection on patterns of attention strengthens the mind's capacity to engage deeply in future work. Continuous adjustment ensures that focus techniques remain aligned with evolving goals and challenges. Deep work produces results that shallow effort cannot. Concentrated attention allows complex problems to be solved, creativity to flourish, and learning to accelerate. When the mind engages fully without distraction, performance improves dramatically and goals are achieved faster. Building the habit of sustained focus compounds over time, creating exponential growth in skill, efficiency, and accomplishment. Strengthening focus is a continuous practice. Each day offers opportunities to train attention, reduce distraction, and refine engagement strategies. Attention improves through deliberate action, environmental control, disciplined initiation of tasks, and regular reflection. Deep work is not a skill developed overnight, but a cultivated habit built through repetition, resilience, and conscious effort. The ability to maintain focus transforms work into progress, challenges into solutions, and time into meaningful achievement. Every interruption avoided, every distraction resisted, and every sustained period of attention increases capability, efficiency, and mastery. Focus turns effort into results, and deep work creates outcomes that define extraordinary achievement. Discipline, energy management, and intentionality are the pillars that support this skill. The individual who strengthens focus consistently produces results that far exceed effort alone, transforming potential into tangible accomplishment. Chapter 6c. Cultivate confidence by acting boldly despite doubts and criticism. Confidence is not something that magically appears. It is built through deliberate action, self-trust, and consistent experience. Acting boldly is the engine of confidence because courage produces proof of capability. Every time a decision is made, a step is taken, or an action executed despite fear or doubt, the mind records evidence of competence. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it is the choice to move forward in spite of it. Doubts and criticism are inevitable, but they do not define your ability or potential. Learning to act decisively regardless of external judgment or internal hesitation cultivates a mental framework in which belief in oneself grows steadily. The first step to building confidence is acknowledging fear without surrendering to it. Doubts arise naturally when attempting something unfamiliar, challenging, or meaningful. Recognizing fear as a signal rather than a barrier allows action to continue even when uncertainty is present. Label the fear, understand its origin, and consciously decide to act despite its presence. Each experience of acting through discomfort reinforces trust in your own judgment and reduces the power of doubt over time. Fear becomes a teacher rather than a limiter. Action strengthens belief in ability more effectively than thought alone. The mind gains certainty through experience, not speculation. Taking small, deliberate steps toward goals produces tangible evidence that reinforces capability. Start with manageable actions and progressively tackle more challenging endeavors. Each success, however minor, adds to a foundation of confidence that cannot be easily shaken by criticism or internal uncertainty. Acting boldly accumulates proof that ability exists and that progress is possible. Criticism is inevitable but manageable. Others' opinions reflect their perspectives, not your competence. Confident individuals learn to separate constructive feedback from baseless judgment. When criticism contains useful insight, it can be applied strategically to improve performance. When it is unfounded or motivated by negativity, it is acknowledged but not allowed to derail action. Developing the skill to discern and filter criticism prevents external voices from dictating behavior and maintains momentum toward goals. Self-reliance reinforces confidence. Trust in your judgment and decision-making builds internal assurance. Seeking constant validation undermines independence and weakens the ability to act decisively. By relying on your reasoning, experience, and capacity to adapt, self-trust grows. Confidence is strengthened when the mind recognizes its own authority over choices and direction rather than deferring to external approval. Each decision made and executed successfully reinforces self-reliance and empowers bolder action. Preparation amplifies boldness. Confidence does not arise from ignorance or chance. It is rooted in understanding, skill, and readiness. Investing time in learning, practice, and planning reduces uncertainty and equips you to face challenges effectively. Knowledge of procedures, potential obstacles, and required steps diminishes hesitation and allows decisive action. Preparedness converts anxiety into focus and transforms uncertainty into controlled, deliberate movement. Boldness is easier to sustain when it is supported by competence. Visualization enhances confidence by creating mental familiarity with action. Imagine performing tasks successfully, handling obstacles, and responding to challenges decisively. Mental rehearsal primes the mind for real experiences, reducing hesitation and uncertainty. Visualization is not wishful thinking, it is proactive preparation that strengthens neural pathways, conditioning the brain to execute confidently when opportunities arise. Each rehearsal builds an internal map of capability that reinforces bold action in reality. Consistency is critical in cultivating confidence. Repeatedly acting in alignment with goals, values, and purpose establishes trust in one's own ability. Every deliberate action reinforces mental patterns associated with competence, courage, and decisiveness. Confidence grows cumulatively through persistent engagement rather than sporadic triumphs. Sustained effort solidifies belief in the capacity to perform under pressure, respond to challenges, and achieve outcomes despite fear or doubt. Reframing mistakes supports confidence growth. Errors are inevitable when striving for meaningful achievement, but how they are interpreted determines their impact. View mistakes as feedback, opportunity for adjustment, and evidence of effort. Each misstep contains information that guides improvement and strengthens the ability to act boldly next time. The mind builds resilience and trust in its problem-solving capacity through repeated, constructive engagement with failure. Mistakes, when handled strategically, enhance confidence rather than diminish it. Mindset shapes the foundation of courage. Internal dialogue influences willingness to act despite uncertainty. Replace self-limiting beliefs with evidence-based affirmations of ability. Remind yourself of previous successes and moments when action produced results. A mindset aligned with competence, perseverance, and growth encourages decisive behavior and strengthens the neural pathways that support confident action. Boldness grows when the mind expects success and recognizes its own potential to achieve it. Action in the presence of doubt strengthens mental resilience. Confidence is forged not in certainty but in choice. Every decision made despite hesitation trains the mind to tolerate discomfort and prioritize progress over hesitation. The act of confronting uncertainty repeatedly reduces the influence of fear over time, producing a steady, reliable sense of self-assurance. Doubt becomes less of a barrier as experience accumulates and proof of capability mounts. Incremental challenges develop confidence progressively. Begin with tasks that stretch abilities slightly beyond current comfort levels. Each completed challenge reinforces the mind's perception of capability. Gradually increase difficulty to build endurance, adaptability, and courage. Confidence grows as the individual experiences repeated success across increasingly complex scenarios, creating a track record of competence that supports bolder future action. Accountability accelerates the cultivation of confidence. Commit publicly or privately to goals and actions, and track progress rigorously. Accountability provides motivation to act consistently and reinforces the habit of executing decisions deliberately. By observing progress and taking responsibility for outcomes, self-trust strengthens, and reliance on external validation diminishes. Confidence flourishes in individuals who consistently honor commitments to themselves and their objectives. Embodied practice supports confidence in action. Posture, tone of voice, and movement influence perception of self and others. Adopting a confident stance, deliberate gestures, and steady speech reinforces internal assurance and signals competence externally. Physical expression and mental state reinforce one another. Acting confidently, even initially without full internal certainty, triggers physiological and psychological reinforcement that strengthens authentic belief over time. Curiosity fosters bold action by focusing attention on learning rather than fear of failure. Viewing challenges as opportunities for insight reduces anxiety and enhances engagement. A curious mindset prioritizes understanding, problem solving, and exploration, which naturally promotes decisive behavior. Confidence emerges when the mind is oriented toward discovery and mastery rather than judgment or avoidance. Reflection and review solidify lessons learned from action. Assess decisions, outcomes, and processes to understand strengths and areas for improvement. Regular evaluation enhances insight, reinforces successful patterns, and informs future strategies. Confidence increases when the mind integrates experience, recognizes progress, and refines methods for more effective future performance. Taking risks strategically strengthens confidence over time. Bold action does not mean reckless behavior, but calculated decisions based on information, preparation, and judgment. Each risk taken and managed successfully expands the perception of capability and widens the range of action considered possible. Confidence grows in proportion to the challenges confronted and overcome through deliberate choice. Gratitude and acknowledgement reinforce belief in personal capacity. Recognizing achievements, progress, and personal growth nurtures mental reinforcement that supports continued action. Confidence is maintained when the mind appreciates the results of effort and experience rather than focusing solely on shortcomings or external validation. Positive recognition of capability reinforces willingness to act boldly in the future. The cumulative effect of repeated action, reflection, and adaptation produces a mind capable of acting decisively in uncertainty. Confidence becomes habitual, resilience strengthens, and the ability to navigate criticism and doubt increases. Bold action becomes the default response to opportunity, challenge, and decision-making rather than a rare occurrence dependent on motivation or external affirmation. Each choice, each step, each moment of courage builds a foundation of self-trust that allows consistent progress and meaningful achievement. Confidence transforms potential into tangible outcomes. Acting boldly despite doubt and criticism creates proof of ability, expands opportunity, and reinforces internal authority. Individuals who cultivate this mindset consistently engage challenges, handle setbacks, and perform under pressure. Self-assurance grows not from comfort or avoidance, but from repeated, deliberate, courageous action. The process of acting decisively shapes both perception and reality, producing a life defined by capability, courage, and accomplishment. Chapter 7. Enhance self-awareness to identify weaknesses and accelerate personal growth. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of growth because it allows you to see yourself clearly, understand your motivations, and recognize the patterns that shape your behavior. Without it, improvement is superficial and inconsistent, driven by external influences rather than internal insight. Developing self-awareness is not about judgment or self-criticism. It is about observation, honesty, and curiosity regarding your thoughts, emotions, and actions. When you understand your strengths and weaknesses accurately, you can make deliberate choices that enhance performance, deepen relationships, and accelerate personal growth. Self-awareness transforms reaction into reflection, impulsivity into strategy, and habitual behavior into conscious decision-making. The first step in enhancing self-awareness is observing your daily thoughts and emotions. Most people operate on autopilot, responding to situations without noticing the internal processes guiding their behavior. By paying attention to emotional reactions, impulses, and recurring thought patterns, you begin to map the inner workings of your mind. Journaling is an effective tool for this purpose. Recording experiences, emotional responses, and reflections allows patterns to emerge, providing insight into triggers, tendencies, and blind spots. Awareness of these patterns is the foundation for meaningful change. Recognizing personal biases is a critical component of self-awareness. Everyone interprets events through a lens shaped by past experiences, beliefs, and assumptions. These biases influence decisions, judgments, and interactions, often without conscious recognition. Identifying where perception is skewed allows you to adjust responses, reduce errors in judgment, and approach challenges with greater clarity. The ability to separate subjective interpretation from objective reality strengthens decision-making and reduces the influence of unexamined mental habits. Understanding core values is essential for self-awareness. Your priorities, goals, and behavior align more naturally when grounded in clear principles. Take time to define what matters most to you, what standards you uphold, and what you refuse to compromise. Actions that reflect these values produce consistency, satisfaction, and integrity. When choices and behaviors are evaluated against your core principles, weaknesses in alignment become apparent, and corrective measures can be implemented deliberately. Values act as a compass, guiding growth with clarity and purpose. Feedback from others enhances self-awareness when interpreted constructively. Honest input highlights blind spots and areas for improvement that may not be visible from within. Approach feedback with openness and curiosity rather than defensiveness. Seek multiple perspectives from individuals whose judgment you trust. Analyze the insights objectively, extracting actionable lessons while discarding irrelevant opinion. Constructive use of external observation accelerates understanding of weaknesses and supports focused personal development. Reflection on past experiences builds insight into behavior patterns and recurring challenges. Analyze situations where outcomes were unfavorable or expectations were not met. Identify decisions, actions, and thought processes that contributed to these results. Reflection transforms past mistakes into a resource for understanding and improvement. Each experience, examined critically and honestly, provides data that strengthens self-knowledge and guides deliberate action moving forward. Identifying emotional triggers is a practical step in enhancing self-awareness. Notice situations that evoke strong reactions, irritation, or discomfort. Understanding the underlying reasons for these responses allows management of emotions rather than being controlled by them. Emotional clarity prevents impulsive behavior, reduces conflict, and improves decision-making. The mind becomes more composed and strategic when reactions are anticipated, understood, and guided intentionally. Recognizing strengths alongside weaknesses supports balanced growth. Self-awareness is not solely about identifying deficiencies, it is equally about acknowledging capabilities. Understanding what you do well provides confidence, enables effective delegation, and allows focus on leveraging skills strategically. Growth occurs when energy is allocated both to maximizing strengths and addressing weaknesses. A comprehensive view of ability creates a foundation for deliberate and sustainable personal development. Habit analysis is a powerful tool for self-awareness. Examine routines, behaviors, and automatic responses. Determine which habits contribute to success and which hinder progress. Awareness of habitual behavior enables intentional modification, replacement, or elimination. Systematic adjustment of habits enhances performance, builds discipline, and aligns actions with long-term goals. Habits, when understood and managed, become instruments of growth rather than unnoticed patterns that limit potential. Mindfulness practices strengthen awareness by training attention to the present moment. Observe thoughts, sensations, and reactions without judgment. Mindfulness enhances clarity, reduces impulsive responses, and increases understanding of internal states. This practice cultivates a mental environment in which self-reflection is continuous, enabling prompt recognition of weaknesses and timely corrective action. The mind becomes a tool for analysis rather than a passive instrument reacting to circumstance. Evaluating thought patterns allows identification of limiting beliefs. Many constraints on achievement stem from internal narratives that undervalue capability or exaggerate obstacles. By recognizing these mental scripts, you can challenge, reframe, and replace them with more constructive interpretations. Changing self-limiting beliefs strengthens confidence, reduces hesitation, and supports decisive action aligned with goals. Awareness of cognitive patterns is a prerequisite for modifying behavior and accelerating growth. Tracking progress systematically reinforces insight into effectiveness. Measure outcomes against goals, note improvements, and identify areas of stagnation. Objective monitoring provides feedback on strategies and behavior, highlighting what works and what requires adjustment. Data-driven reflection enhances the ability to make informed choices, recognize emerging weaknesses, and amplify practices that contribute to personal advancement. Awareness coupled with measurement produces deliberate and targeted development. Self-questioning deepens understanding of motivations and intentions. Ask why certain decisions were made, why certain reactions occur, and what drives persistent behaviors. Honest inquiry into reasoning uncovers underlying beliefs, priorities, and desires that influence action. Awareness of motivation allows refinement of decisions, alignment with purpose, and correction of counterproductive tendencies. Questioning patterns, when conducted regularly, illuminates internal dynamics that shape external outcomes. Understanding the consequences of behavior reinforces awareness. Evaluate the impact of actions on self and others. Observing patterns of influence, response, and results reveals areas for growth and informs adjustments. Awareness of consequences connects choices to tangible outcomes, encouraging deliberate action and discouraging reactive or automatic behavior. Insight into cause and effect strengthens decision-making and reinforces accountability. Regular introspection strengthens capacity to identify subtle weaknesses. Beyond obvious mistakes or deficits, many areas of growth lie hidden in attitudes, assumptions, and interpersonal dynamics. Allocate time to reflect deeply on interactions, reactions, and recurring challenges. Deliberate introspection creates sensitivity to patterns that might otherwise remain unnoticed, providing opportunities to intervene proactively and improve performance consistently. Combining self-awareness with goal alignment accelerates growth. Understanding current capabilities, limitations, and tendencies allows prioritization of efforts where they are most impactful. Strategic alignment ensures that weaknesses are addressed, strengths are leveraged, and energy is invested in areas that produce measurable advancement. Awareness without direction is incomplete. Growth is maximized when insight informs focused action. Developing self-awareness is a continuous practice rather than a one-time effort. The mind and circumstances evolve, creating new challenges, revealing hidden biases, and producing emerging weaknesses. Committing to ongoing observation, reflection, and analysis ensures that growth remains consistent and adaptive. Lifelong attention to self-awareness transforms behavior into a conscious, directed, and deliberate process of improvement. Self-awareness enhances relationships, decision-making, and emotional regulation. By understanding internal states, triggers, and tendencies, interactions become more intentional, communication improves, and conflicts are managed effectively. Awareness of personal patterns fosters empathy, patience, and strategic engagement with others. Growth extends beyond individual performance to influence the broader environment and relationships meaningfully. Ultimately, self-awareness transforms potential into actionable capability. Individuals who understand themselves accurately act with clarity, make informed choices, and accelerate development. Weaknesses are no longer hidden barriers, but recognized opportunities for improvement. Strengths are harnessed deliberately, producing measurable results and enhancing overall competence. Awareness creates a foundation for mastery of behavior, thought, and emotion, enabling consistent, intentional, and sustainable personal growth. Chapter 80. Challenge comfort zones to unlock potential and expand capabilities fast. Growth happens outside familiar boundaries because the mind and body adapt most when challenged. Comfort zones provide safety and predictability, but they also limit potential, suppress initiative, and slow progress. True development requires intentionally placing oneself in situations that provoke discomfort, require new skills, or demand a higher level of effort than usual. Expanding capabilities is a function of repeated exposure to challenges that stretch competence and resilience. Each time a boundary is pushed, confidence increases, habits are strengthened, and the mind learns to operate at a higher standard. Challenging comfort zones is not reckless. It is a calculated process of exploration, action, and reflection that accelerates personal transformation. The first step in breaking free from comfort zones is recognizing their limits. Awareness of routines, behaviors, and situations that no longer promote growth is crucial. Identify areas where life feels predictable, effortless, or repetitive. These are signs that potential is underutilized. Once identified, acknowledge the cost of remaining within these boundaries, including missed opportunities, untested abilities, and stagnant development. Awareness of stagnation motivates intentional action and creates a baseline from which growth can be measured. Set specific, incremental challenges to extend personal capacity. Large leaps often intimidate and paralyze action, whereas manageable challenges encourage consistent effort and build momentum. Choose tasks that are slightly beyond current skill, knowledge, or endurance levels. Completing these incremental challenges expands ability, reinforces confidence, and creates a habit of consistent growth. Over time, the accumulation of small successes leads to substantial transformation in performance, mindset, and capability. Exposure to uncertainty develops adaptability. Comfort zones thrive on predictability, but life and opportunity are inherently uncertain. Intentionally placing oneself in unfamiliar circumstances teaches flexibility, problem solving, and resourcefulness. Learning to navigate discomfort without fear builds resilience and enhances readiness for unanticipated challenges. The mind becomes less rigid, more creative, and capable of operating under pressure. Adaptability gained through challenge accelerates both personal and professional growth. Seek feedback during periods of challenge to enhance learning. Testing limits provides valuable data, but reflection and external input clarify areas for adjustment. Honest evaluation reveals blind spots, strengths, and potential improvements. Feedback strengthens awareness and guides future challenges in a way that produces maximum growth. Action alone is insufficient. Integrating lessons learned ensures that discomfort translates into meaningful capability. Risk-taking is essential for breaking habitual boundaries. Avoiding risks maintains comfort but limits exposure to opportunity, innovation, and achievement. Assess risks intelligently, plan strategies to mitigate failure, and embrace calculated uncertainty. Each successful encounter with risk reinforces courage, judgment, and capacity to perform under pressure. Risk expands both perspective and ability, enabling faster development than repetition within familiar conditions. Curiosity drives exploration beyond known limits. Approaching challenges with a desire to learn, experiment, and understand reduces fear and increases engagement. Curiosity motivates deliberate action, encourages openness to new experiences, and enhances mental agility. When challenges are framed as opportunities for discovery rather than threats, stepping outside comfort zones becomes a natural and productive habit. Embracing temporary discomfort develops discipline. Growth requires sustained effort in situations that may be uncomfortable, awkward, or demanding. Choosing to act despite unease trains the mind and body to tolerate and adapt to stress. This discipline translates into consistent performance, increased resilience, and the ability to pursue ambitious goals without being deterred by temporary difficulty. Regular exposure to controlled discomfort strengthens willpower and capacity for endurance. Diversifying experiences broadens capability. Engaging in activities outside familiar routines, whether learning new skills, meeting unfamiliar people, or tackling novel challenges, exposes gaps in knowledge and ability. Each new experience produces insight, develops competence, and reinforces confidence in handling uncertainty. Expanding exposure accelerates personal evolution and prepares the mind to respond effectively across a wider range of circumstances. Persistence through initial failure reinforces learning and resilience. Stepping outside comfort zones often produces mistakes, setbacks, or unexpected obstacles. These are not indicators of weakness, but opportunities for skill development and strategic adjustment. Each failure provides critical feedback, highlighting what works, what requires improvement, and how to adapt. Persistence ensures that growth continues despite temporary difficulties, creating a trajectory of accelerated capability expansion. Visualization supports stepping beyond comfort by mentally rehearsing challenges. Imagining oneself navigating unfamiliar situations successfully primes confidence and reduces anxiety. Visualization strengthens preparedness, clarifies action steps, and enhances the ability to perform under stress. Mental rehearsal combined with actual experience accelerates skill acquisition, reduces hesitation, and reinforces the habit of tackling new challenges proactively. Goal setting provides structure for venturing beyond comfort zones. Define measurable outcomes that require stepping into unfamiliar territory. Establish clear criteria for success and identify the actions needed to reach them. Structured goals convert abstract intentions into deliberate, actionable steps. Goals also provide benchmarks for progress, reinforcing confidence as each milestone is achieved outside habitual boundaries. Accountability enhances commitment to challenging oneself. Sharing intentions with others or tracking progress privately increases motivation to act consistently. Accountability reduces the tendency to retreat to comfort when obstacles arise. When progress is observed and measured, the mind reinforces behaviors that push boundaries and prioritizes growth over ease. Regular monitoring ensures that exposure to discomfort produces tangible results. Mindset determines success in expanding limits. Viewing discomfort as growth rather than threat encourages engagement rather than avoidance. A mindset focused on learning, adaptability, and opportunity reframes fear and uncertainty as constructive signals. Belief in the value of challenge motivates consistent action and reduces the psychological barrier to venturing beyond familiar territory. Incremental expansion of comfort zones compounds growth. Begin with minor challenges and gradually increase difficulty, complexity, or intensity. Each step reinforces competence, reduces fear, and strengthens confidence. Small wins accumulate, producing a momentum effect that enables tackling progressively greater challenges without overwhelming the mind or body. Consistency in incremental expansion leads to rapid, sustainable development of ability and resilience. Reflection after each challenge consolidates learning. Analyze decisions, actions, and outcomes to identify what contributed to success and what hindered performance. Reflection strengthens self-awareness, informs future strategy, and converts experience into actionable insight. By evaluating each encounter with discomfort, growth becomes intentional, deliberate, and accelerated. Lessons extracted from experience enhance efficiency in expanding boundaries further. Mentorship accelerates comfort zone expansion. Guidance from experienced individuals provides insight, support, and perspective. Mentors help identify areas for challenge, suggest practical strategies, and provide encouragement during difficult transitions. Learning from the experience of others reduces trial and error time and enables faster, more effective growth. Mentorship ensures that challenges are pursued strategically and that progress is optimized. Embracing change reinforces capability development. Comfort zones exist to minimize disruption, but growth requires dynamic adaptation. Actively seeking change, whether in environment, responsibilities, or skill sets, cultivates flexibility, problem-solving, and innovation. Regular exposure to evolving conditions strengthens resilience and prepares the mind for continuous adaptation. Change becomes an ally rather than a threat, facilitating rapid expansion of potential. Persistence, reflection, and incremental challenge together create a sustainable system for accelerated growth. Each uncomfortable step strengthens competence, confidence, and adaptability. The repetition of intentional discomfort transforms fear into action, hesitation into momentum, and limitation into capability. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes manageable, expanding capacity far beyond original expectations. The cumulative impact of consistently challenging comfort zones is profound. Individuals develop skills, resilience, confidence, and perspective at a rate unattainable within predictable routines. Comfort is replaced with competence, limitation with opportunity, and hesitation with decisive action. Every deliberate step into discomfort produces measurable growth, reinforcing the mindset that potential is defined by action rather than circumstance. Challenging comfort zones is a continuous practice rather than a one-time effort. Life presents endless opportunities for expansion, and deliberate exposure to discomfort must be ongoing. Each day provides chances to learn, adapt, and extend personal boundaries. Consistency in seeking challenges transforms capability into habitual excellence and fosters accelerated personal evolution. Chapter 9. Practice daily habits that create long-term success and fulfillment. Success and fulfillment are not accidental outcomes, but the result of consistent, purposeful actions performed day after day. Daily habits shape identity, influence decisions, and determine the trajectory of life more than isolated moments of effort. Each small action compounds over time, producing results far greater than initially apparent. Creating habits that align with long-term goals ensures that progress is continuous, effort is strategic, and growth becomes inevitable. The focus is not on intensity alone, but on repetition, consistency, and alignment between actions and desired outcomes. The first step in establishing effective daily habits is clarity on priorities. Define what success and fulfillment mean personally, professionally, and emotionally. Identify the activities, behaviors, and routines that support these outcomes. Without clarity, habits risk being reactive, inconsistent, or misaligned with true objectives. Awareness of priorities guides the selection of habits that matter, ensuring that each action contributes meaningfully to long-term results. Consistency is more important than intensity. Small, repeated actions produce lasting impact when sustained over months and years. A single act of discipline builds momentum, but repeated application solidifies patterns and ingrains behavior. Daily commitment to productive practices creates an environment in which success becomes the natural byproduct of intentional, continuous effort. Habits transform potential into measurable progress through persistence and discipline. Morning routines set the tone for the day. How the day begins influences energy, mindset, and decision-making. Implementing structured morning practices, such as exercise, reflection, planning, or skill development, creates a foundation of focus and purpose. The initial hours of the day often determine productivity, emotional stability, and clarity in decision-making. A consistent morning routine primes the mind and body for high performance, providing a reliable starting point for daily achievement. Time management amplifies the impact of daily habits. Prioritize tasks that align with long-term goals and dedicate uninterrupted focus to them. Avoid time-wasting activities and reduce unnecessary obligations. Structured planning allows deliberate allocation of effort toward habits that matter. Organizing the day around high-value actions ensures that habits produce meaningful results rather than scattered or diluted effort. Tracking progress reinforces habit formation. Record completed actions, achievements, and challenges encountered. Tracking creates accountability, highlights patterns, and motivates persistence. Visualizing progress builds momentum and provides feedback for refining routines. By monitoring consistency and outcomes, habits evolve from intention to ingrained behavior, creating measurable impact over time. Reflecting daily supports continuous improvement. Assess what was accomplished, what challenges arose, and how habits contributed to success or obstacles. Reflection clarifies effectiveness, informs adjustments, and reinforces awareness of cause and effect. Daily review encourages deliberate decision-making, strengthens self-accountability, and promotes strategic refinement of habits for maximum long-term benefit. Prioritize health and energy as foundational habits. Adequate sleep, balanced nutrition, and regular physical activity sustain performance, focus, and resilience. Health habits amplify productivity in all other areas by ensuring consistent energy and mental clarity. Neglecting physical well-being undermines the ability to maintain other habits and reduces overall effectiveness. Habits that protect and enhance energy support long-term success. Develop learning habits to expand capability continuously. Daily engagement with knowledge, skills, or experience accelerates growth and keeps the mind agile. Reading, listening, practicing, or reflecting builds competence and adaptability. Continuous learning creates a compounding effect on ability, opportunity, and perspective. Habitual investment in personal growth ensures that skills evolve alongside goals, producing sustainable advantage. Mindset habits reinforce resilience and motivation. Daily practices such as affirmations, reflection, or gratitude maintain mental clarity and positive orientation. Habits that cultivate perspective, focus, and emotional regulation strengthen the capacity to persist through challenges. Mental conditioning through repeated positive practices builds the mindset required to sustain performance and navigate adversity effectively. Deliberate planning of tasks and goals converts intention into action. Establish daily priorities, outline steps required, and allocate effort accordingly. Habitual planning reduces procrastination, increases clarity, and ensures that effort is directed toward high-impact activities. Repeated planning habits create a rhythm of intentional action that compounds into measurable achievement over time. Eliminating distractions supports habit execution. Identify triggers, environments, and behaviors that interfere with consistent action. Habit formation is reinforced when attention is focused, interruptions are minimized, and effort is deliberate. Controlling context increases the likelihood that daily actions are completed consistently, ensuring that effort compounds effectively rather than being dissipated by external or internal interruptions. Accountability mechanisms reinforce commitment. Whether through journaling, peer support, or public commitment, tracking obligations ensures follow-through. Habit consistency improves when progress is visible and evaluated. Accountability structures convert intention into tangible action and reduce the risk of abandoning valuable routines under stress or distraction. Incremental improvement is a core principle of habit-driven success. Daily habits should aim for slight, consistent enhancement rather than drastic overnight change. Continuous, modest improvements compound into significant transformation. Focusing on small, achievable steps prevents burnout, sustains motivation, and ensures that progress is consistent. Incremental gains create a sense of achievement that reinforces continuation of effective habits. Reflection on alignment ensures habits contribute to meaningful objectives. Regularly assess whether routines support long-term goals or merely provide comfort or distraction. Habits must be strategically aligned with values, ambitions, and personal definition of fulfillment. Misaligned habits may produce activity but not progress, while aligned habits compound effort toward success and satisfaction. Awareness of alignment strengthens intentionality in daily action. Resilience is reinforced through habitual response to challenges. Daily practices that cultivate persistence, problem solving, and adaptability strengthen the mind's capacity to endure setbacks. Facing and managing minor difficulties daily builds confidence and mental stamina. Habitual resilience ensures that long-term goals are pursued consistently, even when obstacles arise, producing sustainable growth and achievement. Prioritize high-impact habits that shape identity. Actions performed consistently define character, capability, and reputation. By selecting habits that reflect desired traits, such as discipline, integrity, and perseverance, identity is reinforced through practice. Repeated behaviors shape belief systems, decision-making, and long-term direction. Habitual alignment of action with identity accelerates the internalization of values and facilitates natural, sustained success. Celebration of progress supports motivation. Recognizing achievements, however small, reinforces the habit loop and sustains engagement. Positive reinforcement strengthens mental association between action and reward, encouraging continuation of effective practices. Habits are maintained when effort produces observable results that validate commitment and energy investment. Consistency across life domains compounds benefits. Health, learning, relationships, work, and personal development are interconnected. Daily habits that touch multiple areas produce synergy, amplifying impact beyond individual routines. Integrated habit systems create momentum, enhance satisfaction, and reinforce capability. Attention to comprehensive daily practices ensures holistic growth and sustainable fulfillment. Flexibility in habit application maintains sustainability. Life circumstances vary, and rigid routines can falter under pressure. Adapt habits to context without abandoning consistency or intent. Flexibility preserves effectiveness, prevents discouragement, and ensures long-term adherence. The combination of structure and adaptability maximizes the capacity of habits to produce enduring results. Long-term success emerges from the cumulative impact of daily actions performed consistently. Habits provide the scaffolding upon which goals are achieved, challenges are managed, and fulfillment is cultivated. Each day contributes to growth, resilience, and skill acquisition. Over months and years, disciplined attention to daily practices compounds into measurable achievement, competence, and satisfaction. The ability to create and sustain impactful daily habits transforms effort into results. Success becomes predictable because actions are aligned with purpose and repeated consistently. Fulfillment grows because the mind, body, and life are structured intentionally to reflect values and ambitions. Habits create a life in which improvement is automatic, results are inevitable, and potential is fully realized. Chapter 10. Commit to continuous improvement to become unstoppable in life. Continuous improvement is the foundation of unstoppable progress because stagnation guarantees decline, while deliberate advancement ensures growth. Life does not reward complacency, and success is never final. It must be pursued intentionally every day. Committing to improvement means constantly evaluating actions, seeking knowledge, refining skills, and adjusting strategies in response to experience. This commitment transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results over time. Growth is cumulative, and those who dedicate themselves to consistent advancement create momentum that becomes self-sustaining, enabling achievement beyond what initial potential might suggest. The first step in continuous improvement is honest assessment. Regularly review your performance, decisions, and outcomes without excuses or defensiveness. Identify what works, what falls short, and what requires adjustment. Self-evaluation must be objective, guided by measurable results and observable patterns rather than assumptions or emotion. Recognizing weaknesses and areas for enhancement creates clarity and direction, forming the basis for deliberate progress. Without accurate understanding of current capabilities, improvement is unfocused and inconsistent. Goal setting drives continuous improvement by providing structure and purpose. Define specific, measurable, and time-bound objectives that push the limits of current ability. Break large ambitions into actionable steps and monitor progress consistently. Goals provide benchmarks for evaluating success, creating accountability, and motivating consistent action. By aligning daily activity with long-term targets, each effort contributes to measurable advancement, transforming intention into tangible results. Learning is the engine of personal evolution. Commit to acquiring knowledge, skills, and insights every day, whether through reading, observation, practice, or experience. Learning is cumulative, and even small increments compound over time. Exposure to new ideas, techniques, and perspectives accelerates growth, enhances problem-solving, and increases adaptability. Individuals dedicated to improvement actively seek opportunities for learning rather than waiting for circumstances to dictate growth. Feedback is a vital tool for accelerating development. Constructive critique reveals blind spots and provides actionable guidance for refining performance. Seek input from mentors, peers, or objective measures and integrate it thoughtfully into action. Criticism, when used deliberately, transforms obstacles into information that directs improvement. Continuous learners embrace feedback without ego, using it to adjust strategies, strengthen skills, and expand capability. Reflection solidifies lessons from experience. Evaluate successes, failures, and intermediate results to understand cause and effect. Analyze the decisions, behaviors, and strategies that influenced outcomes. Reflection allows adaptation of future approaches, refinement of skills, and reinforcement of effective practices. Regular review converts experience into knowledge and knowledge into action, producing a continuous cycle of learning and improvement. Habits compound improvement by embedding progress into daily routine. Daily repetition of productive behaviors creates automatic patterns that reinforce capability over time. Small, consistent actions produce results that are often invisible initially but accumulate exponentially. Identify routines that enhance skill, efficiency, or resilience and perform them deliberately every day. Habitual action transforms effort into results without reliance on motivation alone, ensuring continuous forward movement. Resilience is integral to sustained improvement. Progress often requires facing setbacks, failures, and unexpected challenges. Developing the mental capacity to endure difficulties without abandoning commitment ensures that temporary obstacles do not derail long-term growth. Resilience allows persistence, learning from mistakes, and adaptation under pressure, creating a mindset capable of sustained, unstoppable advancement. Each challenge navigated strengthens the foundation for future progress. Adaptability enhances the effectiveness of continuous improvement. Circumstances, knowledge, and technology evolve, and strategies must adjust accordingly. Individuals committed to growth recognize when methods are outdated, inefficient, or ineffective and are willing to change. Flexibility in approach ensures that improvement remains relevant and impactful, preventing stagnation and maintaining momentum. Adaptability transforms obstacles into opportunities for enhanced capability and innovation. Prioritization ensures energy is focused on high-impact areas. Not all tasks contribute equally to growth. Identify activities that provide the greatest return on effort, whether in skill development, productivity, or personal advancement. Dedicate time, attention, and resources to actions that move goals forward most effectively. Strategic prioritization ensures that continuous improvement is efficient, sustainable, and aligned with meaningful outcomes. Accountability maintains momentum in the pursuit of improvement. Commit publicly, track progress, or partner with mentors to reinforce responsibility for advancement. Accountability structures ensure that goals are pursued consistently and lapses are recognized and corrected quickly. Regular monitoring and measurement of effort and results prevent complacency and sustain deliberate action toward long-term growth. Embracing challenges accelerates development. Comfort encourages stagnation, but confronting difficulty produces insight, competence, and confidence. Actively seeking demanding situations, solving complex problems, and testing limits builds skill and resilience. Challenges expand capability, refine judgment, and create evidence of competence, reinforcing motivation to continue improvement. Each difficult experience compounds growth and accelerates the trajectory toward excellence. Curiosity fuels continuous advancement by promoting exploration and discovery. Asking questions, experimenting with new methods, and seeking understanding broadens perspective and capability. Curiosity transforms routine into opportunity, uncertainty into insight, and mistakes into lessons. By maintaining a mindset of inquiry, individuals generate consistent avenues for skill enhancement and knowledge acquisition, ensuring progress never plateaus. Discipline anchors continuous improvement. Motivation fluctuates, but habitual dedication maintains forward momentum. Consistent effort applied systematically, even when enthusiasm wanes, produces results over time. Discipline ensures that learning, practice, and strategic action are sustained, forming the backbone of unstoppable progress. The combination of discipline and deliberate action creates a reliable engine for consistent advancement. Self-awareness strengthens the efficiency of improvement efforts. Understand personal strengths, limitations, and tendencies to focus on areas that yield maximum benefit. Awareness of behavior, reactions, and cognitive patterns allows refinement of approach and prevents wasted effort. Recognizing biases or recurring errors provides opportunities to intervene and adjust strategies, enhancing the impact of deliberate practice and learning. Reflection on long-term vision maintains alignment in continuous improvement. Evaluate whether current actions, habits, and learning contribute to meaningful objectives. Adjust strategies, refocus priorities, and eliminate distractions that hinder progress. Alignment between daily action and overarching purpose ensures that effort compounds effectively, producing not only capability, but fulfillment. Continuous improvement without direction risks wasted energy, while alignment guarantees relevance and impact. Incremental advancement is more sustainable than rapid, unsystematic change. Focus on daily, consistent progress rather than immediate perfection. Small, deliberate steps, repeated over time, produce results that are durable and profound. Gradual improvement reduces burnout, allows refinement, and builds confidence in capability. Each incremental gain contributes to a larger trajectory of unstoppable progress, creating momentum that accelerates over time. Mentorship and collaboration amplify growth. Learning from experienced individuals and exchanging insights accelerates understanding, reduces trial and error, and introduces new perspectives. Collaboration provides accountability, support, and reinforcement of positive practices. Engaging with others committed to improvement multiplies the effectiveness of personal effort and creates a network of shared growth. Reflection on outcomes reinforces lessons and encourages adaptation. Assess whether goals were achieved, analyze factors that contributed to success or failure, and refine methods accordingly. Learning from experience is the catalyst that converts action into growth. By examining results critically, adjustments can be made that improve efficiency, effectiveness, and consistency of future effort. Commitment to improvement creates a mindset that anticipates and overcomes obstacles. Individuals with this mindset view setbacks as information rather than failure, challenges as opportunities rather than threats, and effort as necessary rather than optional. The dedication to constant refinement ensures that progress continues even under adversity, creating a self-sustaining trajectory of growth. The combination of learning, action, reflection, and adaptation makes advancement unstoppable. Each element reinforces the others, producing compounding effect. Daily practice strengthens skill, evaluation informs strategy, and persistence ensures continuity. Over time, this system of deliberate improvement elevates performance, expands capability, and establishes mastery. Success becomes predictable because growth is habitual, deliberate, and continuous. Those committed to continuous improvement operate beyond limits imposed by fear, complacency, or external conditions. Their progress is not dependent on luck or circumstance, but on consistent action, thoughtful reflection, and persistent effort. Capabilities increase, opportunities expand, and resilience strengthens, producing a life in which challenges are met with confidence, performance is maximized, and potential is fully realized.